Hello everyone, this is Kevin the Aptopreneur, and I'm making a quick video because I woke up, did some driving this morning on Lyft, and I came home to a bunch of emails and trending on Uber, and I was wondering, well, okay, what on earth did Uber do? Because whenever Uber has a bad day, I have a good day. Did another executive leave? Did they cut the rates? Is the strike actually working? And I look it up, and people are upset because Uber price gouged them during the London attacks. Yeah, we're still doing this, I guess. And of course, Uber's responded, and they've said, we're going to refund anyone who had a surge thing through the... Guys, Uber has many, many, many problems. Price gouging during terrorist attacks are not one of them. Guys, Uber is not out there deliberately pressing a button whenever there's an attack, making surge go up. There is an algorithm at play. The algorithm works that when more demand comes up than there is supply, the surge goes up. And what the surge is supposed to do is not only will it get the people who are willing to pay for that ride into a car, but it will attract more drivers to that area because people are clued in that there is a lot of demand in that area. Now, of course, what happened in London is terrible. Whenever there is a terrorist attack or a natural disaster, it is awful. It is awful, awful, awful. And my heart goes out to these people who get caught up in these attacks. But here's the thing. When these attacks happen, a lot of people want rides. And all of them call Uber or Lyft, because Lyft does this too with their prime time. And there's not enough supply to meet the demand. And guess what? That makes it surge. That makes it surge, and it makes it prime time. And Uber and Lyft can't control that. They cannot control it. In fact, most of the time, people at Uber are finding out that these things are going on long after the surge has started. And so that's thing number one to keep in mind. The algorithm is determining the surge, not Uber. Secondly, it's a natural disaster, and you know what? Uber drivers, they are not Uber employees. They are independent contractors. They are people like you and me. Chances are another thing that makes the surge go up is that when these things happen and the drivers catch on, they get scared and they turn the apps off. And they have every right to turn those apps off. They do not need to put themselves in danger to pick someone up and drive them 70 cents a mile. It's not going to happen. And then you have some drivers who don't have much to lose, and hey, they see the surge, they see that there is a need, and they turn on the app and they go. And they're not doing anything wrong either. Now, of course, it's probably in Uber's best interest, especially now, to refund the rides. Don't take it from the drivers, of course, and pay the drivers what they were promised. But yeah, to be nice, Uber can put in a policy where, hey, in the event of a natural disaster, if you are within a radius of where that happened, we will refund rides. They don't take the money from the drivers. Because if they did, that would cause a whole other problem, whereas people would really not drive during natural disasters. But it might behoove Uber and Lyft to maybe make it a policy like, hey, if there's a natural disaster and you're caught up in it and there is a surge or a prime time, don't panic, email us, we will refund the money. That is our policy. But you know what? The surge is based on an algorithm. The algorithm is based on supply and demand. And when there's a terrorist attack and we don't know when they're going to hit sometimes, in fact, most of the time we don't know when they're going to hit, people panic and a bunch of people call Ubers and Lyfts, and there's not enough cars out there that causes it to surge. That is not Uber taking advantage of the situation. That is Uber not being aware of the situation. And the last time Uber turned the surge off, which was during the taxi strike, they got into a lot of trouble with that. So this is the one area where Uber just can't seem to win. And people just, I don't think they're ever going to fully understand how surge works. All they see is, hey, this is what it costs. We don't want to pay it. That's it. So, if you heard the knock on the door, it's because I was just visited by a Jehovah's Witness. So, yep, that happened. Anyway, so, yeah, I am so tired of this. I think people just don't like to pay for surge, and they're just never going to want to pay for surge. And this is one of the few times where they can legitimately complain about it and get a response from Uber. But to people who are not driving Uber, for people who are taking Uber and Lyft, let me make something abundantly clear. The surge is never going away. It is never going away. Uber can do what they can to curb the surge, but it will never fully go away. They will not have any drivers if it goes away. If it went away, they would have to pay the drivers way more than what they are now. And guess what? That means you're paying for it. So, but when it comes to natural disaster, they didn't do anything wrong. And in fact, you should be grateful that an Uber driver is willing to pick you up in the midst of someone being on the bridge shooting and stabbing people. Just a thought. Anyway, what do you folks think? Can you believe that this is still like a complaint? Let me know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed the videos I produce, consider becoming a Patreon or buying something from the Great Media Universe store. And as always, flame responsibly. #delete Uber. Because I'm still going on delete Uber for all the other things I complain about. Just not this one.